All right. Today, let's talk about Ghostwater, Book 5 in Cradle by Will Wight. All right. So, some things that I thought were really good in this. Will has done a great job in the series doing setup and payoffs, setting up things earlier in the series that we get to see later on. So a big thing is like setting up the Monarch North Strider in this. I thought that was really cool, especially since I know what happens. Um, the feud between the dragons and the Kura clan, I think that's cool. We get a little, we just get a snippet, just a little bit of that information, a kind of the feud that's happened in the past, and that's kind of going on right now. I was digging getting that information. Zail, I believe that's how you say his name. Um, Honestly, when he first came in, I was a little confused who when he first came in and actually like said some kind of things. I was a little confused who he was because I think he was in the beginning with all the other people that were in there with Lyndon. But that was like several chapters prior, so I don't know. In the audiobook, it's probably like 5 or 6 hours since we heard about him, and so I was like, "Who is this guy?" At first, I thought he was uh, that he was one of the Akura clan member that was there. Um, I liked getting a little bit more on Charity. I thought that was kind of cool getting her introduced and you know setting that piece up to be used later on. Um, and we get Dross, which was fantastic. Honestly, I really liked the the one thing that I really like about Lyndon as a character is how he brings in these side characters around him that help him on his journey because he started off so down, um but how they kind of like all work as a unit, like Lyndon's team more than it's just like Lyndon doing everything on his own. And I like that Lyndon kind of gets more from this. He gets to use like on his own, which I think we haven't really seen as that much of him for a while, just by himself completely. It was cool to see him transform and get some more powers and become a little bit more like reliant on just himself and kind of like bridge that gap between, himself and Yaren. Okay. So there's a lot of stuff to like about this book. I actually really liked Ghostwater. I thought out of the series, it's one of my favorites. Some things I was a little uh, iffy on was I kind of thought Yern and Mercy's storyline was kind of boring. I didn't really find I didn't really find it interesting. It was just basically go get Lyndon. So they spent their whole time, going to get going after Lyndon instead of doing their own thing and like having their own plot thread to work with. So that kind of sucked, especially since we just got Mercy in book 4. I wanted more of Mercy. I wanted to know about her character. Who is she? What's her past? What's her backstory? What does she want? Right now she's just kind of a and so it's a little disappointing. It's not like this is with the way these books are and how short they are, I can forgive these types of things from Will of like, yeah, I've got plans for this character in the future, but she's just kind of here right now. That's okay. Especially since, again, since these are so short and he's been, you know, getting them out so quickly, it's not that big of a deal if a character is like, there's like, I think back to the Wheel of Time, which I will review at some point on this channel. Um, but like, there's characters who pop out of the books for several books and then they come back. Most of them are like minor side characters, but even some of the main characters are like barely in some books. They're like maybe touched on once and then that's it. That's all you get. So like it's okay to leave out characters in a story, But the thing that's really important here is that we don't know Mercy yet. So like there's no draw there. Like we know Yaren, we're excited about Yaren, but like there's no draw to their storyline. And sometimes it just happens, you know? Even the best writers, sometimes that just happens. You just have plot lines that don't really pan out the way you want. Um, so the other thing that I wasn't a big fan of, and I think this is also another another little like setup thing, and it's just due to like timing and stuff like that, is like when Lyndon. Okay, I will give a spoiler alert, but if you have watched a review to book 5, then I hope you've at least read the first 4. If not, then you don't really care about spoilers. But I'll give a little spoiler warning. So if you need if it's not very big, but leave now. Okay. Okay. So when Lyndon destroys the portal into the dimension, I get they're being watched by the Skysworn. I was already not like Skysworn wasn't like probably was one of my least favorite books in the series. Not because it was bad, but just because there was like not I didn't feel like a lot happened. There was some setup, but not a whole lot of things that were like, wow, this is really cool. And I know Skysworn become there's a point to them, but like the two true gold Skysworn that are with them, I feel like the whole not trusting thing is not, I get it's based on what Ethan's doing and it's not really up to Lyndon and Yaren, but Yaren's got her blood shadow and stuff like that. So there's like some things, and Lyndon's a Blackfire, but I feel like their side characters aren't set up enough for me to really I don't really care when Lyndon and I don't even remember her name. I'm just gonna be honest. Whatever her name is, they go into the true gold that's with him. They go into the portal and Lyndon blows it up and she's like killed. It's like okay, what's the point? I don't have any. I don't cheer. I'm not sad. There's no emotional attachment at all to this character because she's just there, And it's the same thing when like they betray Yaren, when the other one betrays Yaren, like because like she's got it. I don't know. It just, to me, it didn't feel like it was set up well, and it felt like it could use a little bit more something to, a little bit more like, who are these characters that why don't they trust them? Why personally don't they trust them? I understand their orders. Why personally don't these characters like Yaren and Lyndon? If we would have gotten a bit more of that set up in Skysworn, and maybe even the beginning of Ghostwater, I would have this happens like early in Ghostwater. This happens like in the first, like, I don't know, 6 chapters maybe? And it's like, so they're just plot devices. They're just there to move Lyndon and Yaren along. That's it. So I don't know. I think that was kind of a missed opportunity. Like, I'm not going to like, this is a review and it's a critique, but it's not enough. When I say it's a critique, it's not enough that this book is not good. This is a good book. Don't get me wrong. This is I very much enjoy this book and I very much enjoy this series. But there's always things we can do to make our writing better. And this is just one area where I think it could be better. And I think it all adds up to the same thing, which is it's good that these books are short. They're definitely, the first book I think was like almost perfect. It was like just a great way to draw someone into the series. But as this keeps going, we need those breaks. We need those times where like we just get character moments. They don't have to be in an intense struggle for their life. We just need, it's fun. It's really cool to watch. I really like how the power system works and how like Lyndon, like his growth and character development is fun and exciting. Like if Lyndon and Yaren weren't well, Lyndon is the main person I'm attached to, but I like Yaren a lot too. If they weren't like here to draw the plot, those are the reasons I'm reading, right? I'm reading for for those characters, which is great. But like, we need this to slow down. Just like as it gets later and later, it needs to slow down, because like, not everything can be just a mad dash for like, like this or that, or violence. Like, we need those peace breaks in between to break up the intensity of battle, because then the intensity of battle stands out. If it's just battle after battle after battle after battle, it's almost too much. It's just constant action, in my face. And I wanted to draw back a little bit, and get some of those other moments. This book is definitely better than Skysworn. I said this is one of, I like this book a lot. I think it's one of my favorite books from the series. Yeah. So again, if if you enjoy this book, if you don't enjoy this book, and you want to talk about it, feel free to leave comments. If you like my videos, please subscribe. I always appreciate it. I just ask, as if you do want to talk and discuss a book, please do so politely. That doesn't mean you can't disagree with each other or disagree with me. Just I will be removing any comments that are directly aggressive towards other people for no reason. It doesn't make, like, don't be aggressive. Don't be jerks. Just talk about it. It's okay to disagree. If you don't like this book, if you think this book's bad, and you're like, hey, I just don't like this book, it's not my taste, it's not my thing, that's okay. We all have different tastes. We all have things we like and don't like, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you want to have a good discussion about it, bring to the table why you don't like it, right? And then, like, I'll bring to the table why I like it, and we can talk about it. And maybe you'll point out some things that I am like, oh yeah, that's a good point, or I'll point out some things that you can be like, oh yeah, that's a good point. It's okay to disagree. So, all right, that's going to be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. So I will see you next time.